All right, what is up, guys? Welcome back to episode 11 of Division
11.
Therapy. 11. Liam, how we feeling?
Um, to be honest, I'm not really feeling that bad, as opposed to seemingly the majority of the Braves fan base that are acting like the world is falling. We'll get into that a little bit later, but honestly, I'm glad that we kind of got this monkey off our back. I'm like, realistically speaking, you can't win every single series. It's never happened before, and I think that we've lost this series, that we've kind of, I guess, gotten that. Obviously, it's a chance that we go into LA and lose as well. But I just think that it was an important thing to face some adversity, because if you just don't face an adversity, things aren't going to fare well in the
Yeah,
the,
you
the
got to be
playoffs.
battle tested by at
Yeah,
some
yeah.
point, and it
At some
seems like
point,
they
yeah.
were. But yeah, great. Let's hop right in. I'll kick it off.
Yeah.
Mets in Colorado. They just faced them no more than what, 2 weeks ago, and they
two
got
weeks ago, yeah.
swept at home. The Mets.
Mhm.
And they took the series. It really should have been a sweep. I'm quite upset actually about today's game. But we could start with game one. First of all, it was weird because the weather, there was 8 inches of snow in
Yeah.
Denver on what day was that? Not today, not yesterday, but Tuesday. Tuesday. So
Yeah,
that game got
Tuesday.
postponed. So,
Tuesday, yeah.
so they played the first game on Monday where they won, and it's just a weird one because on
Mhm.
Sunday they announced that Peterson was going to pitch, but he wasn't going to start, and that there would be an
Right.
opener. And so I immediately assumed it would be Sean Manaea because they've kind of piggybacked each other in the past. No, they went with Huascar Brazaban,
Yeah.
and he was great in the first inning. And then Austin Warren took over, and he was great as well. So their plan was working to perfection. And then they brought in Peterson, and honestly, he was looking really good. Like he was
Mhm.
looking. I didn't know. I didn't know that he was from the area. So when pitchers play, it either goes one way or the other. When they pitch in front of maybe their friends or their family, it's either really great, they're hyped up, or it's really bad, they're hyped up. And
Yeah.
this one went well.
Mhm.
I wanted him to go all the way. The announcers jinxed him. Keith was like, "I'd love to see him finish the game," and then he promptly gives up like a triple. Carson
Yeah.
Bench fell down on a ball that should have been caught.
Yeah.
So his line didn't look quite as good. Peterson, but still, like Peterson looked good, and if he can do this, like if this is what he is now, then that's just what he is. And he's
But a
not.
double opener is kind of strange,
It
though.
was yeah, it was weird. I think I don't know how much like I wonder if they knew that the game was going to get canceled the next day so they could kind of rest guys up. I'd be curious to know about that. But usually when Peterson gives up like a triple like that or like a big extra base hit, he kind of just collapses. Like he just lets it unravel. And
Yeah.
honestly, he didn't let it unravel, which was like really impressive. I was very happy to see that. And the bullpen did their job. Another couple of RBIs from Vientos, who's really starting to find his stride a little bit, it feels like. He's having some big hits. It's in Colorado, so you got to take it with a grain of salt. And then Carson Bench had a huge home run, and his
He
defense.
did.
And he
Yeah, I
made,
saw that. Yeah.
I know he fell down on that play, but he made another really amazing catch. And honestly, like he's just starting to figure it out. We talked the first few episodes of like there was the question of should he get sent down, should he be benched, what's going. He couldn't catch up to really any pitch, and it seems like he's really been adjusting. So the last 10 games or so, he's been awesome. And so it's really great to see. And then yeah, game two finally happened
And
after the
I
snow out.
also think it's too, in a weird way, to his benefit that the Mets have definitely struggled to start the year, because I definitely think that if the Mets had the record of the Braves and were doing as well as the Braves were doing, I think he would have gone back down to AAA.
Definitely.
I think they would have just rather some, hey, listen, let's bring someone else up, or maybe we sign a veteran or whatever to continue to bolster and have success. But with the struggles that the Mets have had, I think they're like, hey, well, he can just develop up here. You know what I mean? He can see these pitches, and he's been able to do that. And you had the faith in him to give him some time, and he's gotten that time to develop, and he has started to figure that out. And that doesn't always happen, but I think that this has been a good opportunity for him to figure it out.
Yeah, I
So
think also with them struggling, it's like to your point, like if they were winning and he was sucking, then all the attention would be on him, the spotlight would be on him, it would be a lot more pressure. But since the entire team was struggling,
Mhm.
he was obviously a part of it, but it was a less, monumental piece of it. And so, yeah, that's a great point. And then, yeah, game two finally happened. The schedule was so weird. Like it was supposed to be, they were supposed to be off on Thursday. Wednesday's game got pushed back. They had to clear out the snow. Anyways, Freddie Peralta finally took the mound,
Yep.
and he's been so average this year.
Truly,
He's
yeah.
been so average. He can't really work deep into games. And honestly, like Torrens should have caught a foul ball. Ended up adding, a bunch of pitches to his pitch count. It's just something that like you'll never see in the box score, but when you watch it, you're like, oh man, Peralta should have been out of this inning. And Torrens should have made a play on the foul ball, and he wasn't able to. They took Peralta out after 5 innings. He had 91 pitches, which is just unacceptable. I was curious if they were gonna let him go back. Mendoza loves to like let the pitcher go out for the sixth, and then the first base runner that they give up, they'll take him out.
Yeah.
So I was kind of expecting that. But 91 pitches is not good, especially for the fact that he only gave up 4 hits and 2 walks. So it's like,
And it just doesn't seem like he has any swing of miss. Like it's just been almost no swing and miss. And when it's like such significant amount of foul balls and long at bats that he's seeing, obviously, yes, he could have had some help, but he's clearly really struggling with putting guys away. And yes, obviously, if he gets the ball on the ground and flyouts or whatever, yes, he's eventually getting outs. But I'm like, if he's not getting short counts here, I'm like, it's really, really difficult if there is no swing and miss, and the only way that you can get guys out is if the ball is put in play and it's an out. So
yeah, and only one strikeout in this game, which is it's just not good enough. Like it's
yeah.
just not good enough. And part of me is kind of glad that they haven't signed him to an extension yet, because the money that he would have been asking for and the results that we've been given are not the same.
Yeah.
But regardless, the Mets had a huge offensive game. They went
They
up
did,
eight
yeah.
nothing. Everyone was like, "Oh man, maybe." I mean, if you're a casual Mets fan, you probably thought that this game was over. If you're a real Mets fan, you know that no game is over until until all 27 outs are made.
Yep.
Because they went up 8 nothing, and then the Rockies made it really interesting. It was like 8-5. Thank you, Tobias Myers, who had his worst appearance as a Met so far.
Yeah.
But Devin Williams was able to shut it down. He was brought into the ninth inning. It was 10-5 with bases loaded, and he was able to shut it down. And the guy that made it bases loaded, we got to talk about it.
Yeah.
Sean Manaea, dude. Like, he sucks.
Yeah.
I need him off the team so bad. I need him DFA'd. When he signed that contract, everyone knew that it was an awful, awful contract. It was going to age so poorly because his whole thing was like the arm slot that he emulated from Chris Sale. And it's like, bro, you're not Chris Sale. You've never been Chris Sale. And hitters are going to catch up to this. They're going to adjust. They're going to know the arm slot. They're going to figure it out. And they totally have. Like, it's been so bad right now. And he's getting, I mean, his contract's like 4 for $72 million, which is just
Yeah, I just don't understand it, man. And
like, I saw a
it
tweet.
was
Yeah, I just saw like something that was like, if you paid like Manaea money, and remember they signed Freddie Montas 2 for 34. It's like,
yeah.
if you sign that, like if you combine that money, you could get an ace instead of like like sign the tier A free agents. David
And the
Stearns, like,
success that Sean Manaea had was in the Coliseum. You know what I mean?
mhm,
And the Coliseum is a big place, bro.
huge
Like
pitcher's park.
it is
Yeah,
it is a big place, and there's obviously a lot of historic pitchers that have had a lot of success there. Obviously, RIP the Oakland Coliseum, RIP the Oakland Athletics. But it's just like the success that he had there. I kind of would chalk that up to the ballpark and overall, the AL West, parts of it that I've definitely struggled throughout the years, especially when he was pitching there in Oakland. So, yeah, I think a lot of people were questionable about the market and where he was coming in, and it has just not worked out. I
at
don't
all.
really know how they're going to get out of this contract right now. Obviously, I don't. I just don't really know. I don't know
They're
if
not.
it's
At one
a
point, they're just going to cut him. I think. I really do think
yeah,
that at one point they're just going to cut him.
yeah,
But yeah, to lead off the game, Soto had a huge home run. First leadoff home run, if you can believe it. I guess he doesn't hit leadoff, too often in his
yeah.
career. And then a huge game from Marcus Semien. It's crazy. His OPS is so low, but his stats with runners in scoring position is actually really, really good. He went 4 for 5 this game,
Yeah.
and then Benj, another good game. Love to see those 2 for 5s. Those 3 for 4 games. Like, the guy just knows how to hit. His hit tool is super high, and so great overall win. And then yeah, going for the sweep today. Let me just read you the lineup real quick. This is how I
Mhm.
knew we were going to lose the game. This is when I knew.
Yeah.
Soto, Bichette, Vientos. Okay, fine.
Mhm.
Austin Slater cleanup, Simeon 5, Andy Ibanez 6, Francisco Alvarez 7, Tyrone Taylor 8, and your buddy Vidal Brujan 9. So automatically I'm like, okay, this is a punt lineup. Like, this is like, why are you not playing bench? I know it's against a lefty, but still, like, let him face the lefties. I know you brought in Slater to face lefties, but I promise you, like, Slater is not that good that you need
Mhm.
to play him over your budding star potentially. And so, yeah, looking at the lineup, I was like, okay, it'd be a miracle if they won this game. And I was right. And there's not much to talk about here. Christian Scott took a minor step forward. They didn't let him go past the fifth inning, get through the fifth inning rather. And so I'd love to see them push him a little bit more. And then Soto did not come up clutch, and I feel like I say that a lot. I feel like
Mhm.
that's kind of a trend, and when you're getting paid the money that he is, it's like, we pay you for these situations, buddy. Like 2-2 in the seventh, not even the ninth, so like not all the pressure's on you, but the seventh, first and second, and you pop up in the
Yeah.
infield. It's like
Mhm.
it's just not good enough. And yeah, I mean, like, I sound super dejected about this game because it was super dejecting. And then you bring in Craig Kimbrell,
Yeah.
who's a double agent. It feels like, because he sucks, man. Like, it's like he's still playing for like he wants the Mets
I
to
don't know
lose.
how he still has a job. I don't know how he's not
Awful.
retired,
He
man. I just
loads.
feel like
It's just like how yeah. It's just how do you call yourself a serious franchise and then bring in Craig Kimbrell in a tie game? So
yeah.
he loads the bases and then, of course, gives up a grand slam. And the Mets are out of challenges, by the way. There were a couple questionable
Mhm.
strike calls that they probably could have used ABS for. But
Yeah.
the Mets have been incredibly selfish, and Alvarez loves to tap that head, dude. Like, Alvarez loves to. It's like the sixth inning, and no one's on. It's a totally, like, non-crucial situation. And he's just like, it's like,
Yeah.
dude, like someone's got to pull you aside and be like, man, these are team challenges. These are not. I know that you probably think it's a strike, but man, like, you got to be smarter about this, because they totally missed that ABS call, and they would have loved to have it in the eighth inning.
Yeah,
And yeah,
the emotional challenge I think is a problem throughout the MLB
oh
right now.
yeah,
I'm like in the game that I think the Mariners lost for our second game. I think Julio had an emotional challenge they could have used in the top of the ninth when it came to the Matt Olson at bat. I think there was a questionable call in that Matt Olson at bat. So yeah, I'm like, listen, I'm like, a lot of these guys are thinking that they're right, and obviously there are a lot of guys that know the zone very well, but there's a
Soto
lot
got
of
one
them.
wrong. I was
Yeah,
surprised about that.
exactly. Yeah. So I genuinely I think that the parity that we're seeing, where there are a lot of guys that are really bad at it. Like, for example,
Jazz Chisholm's the
Yeah,
worst.
Jazz Chisholm,
Yeah.
Ronald Acuna Jr. has been very, very bad at it. Like, there is definitely, maybe some of the cockier stars in the MLB that have not been very good at it, and just think that they're getting those calls, or gonna get you know what I mean? Because they already
hmm
have that
hmm
expectation. So it's like, oh, maybe I'm gonna
Right.
get it
If
this
you were
way
Aaron
too.
Judge, you get that call, but actually you don't get that call this year because of ABS. Like,
Exactly.
your stature doesn't matter anymore, which is what I kind of love it. Like, I
Yeah.
really, I know we've talked about it in the past, but like, it gets the fans involved. It keeps the game moving. No one's complaining after the game of this one call that could, if it went the other way. Um, and yeah, I mean, I texted you about it, and you told me to be happy about the series win, but it sucked. Like, this
Yeah.
game sucked, and series wins are great, but not
Jake
when you're in the
McCarthy's
cellar.
first career grand slam.
Not when you're in this. Yeah, you gotta sweep the Rockies when you're in the cellar, like the Mets were.
Oh
So
man.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
all I got for the Mets. But
that was tough,
hopefully,
man. Yeah, definitely an expectation, especially with the first two games and the higher offensive output.
hmm
It was definitely not what you needed, and especially a home run from a guy who only has 25 career home runs. That can be pretty brutal.
yeah,
Okay, so we move on to the Braves, the lowly Braves, the 26-11 Braves that have lost a series, lost their first series of the year to the Seattle Mariners.
tiny
This was
violin, tiny violin.
yeah. This was an interesting series. Starting in game one, and the big story of this game was, of course, J.R. Ritchie's debut in Seattle, where he's from. He's from Bainbridge High School, which is across, like, I guess, the bay or something. So, like, in order to get to Seattle, he would have had to like take the ferry or something. And so he didn't actually stay at home with his parents because he was worried that like the ferry wouldn't come or whatever, kind of like, I guess, a Staten Island ferry in New York City and whatever, right? And so he stayed in a hotel, but he had a great 5 innings. Things were looking good. And, we were like, okay, but he did have control issues. Things were getting a little wild. I think he was overthrowing kind of, especially later in that fifth inning. And I was like, I think we need to get somebody up. And it would have been Kinley in that position, which Kinley did come in the sixth inning, but it was once J.R. Ritchie had given up that 3-run home run. He walked and gave up a single in the sixth inning. And then, listen, I'm like, the guy's still young. He hangs a 1-1 curveball right down the middle, and a 3-run home run is hit. You know what I mean? And you're kind of sitting there, and it's like, this really could have been avoided, at least to the point where it's just like, Weiss has been amazing, man. This is nitpicky complaining from a lot of Braves fans. He has truly made a lot of great decisions, but it's just kind of that point where I feel like managers will not be proactive sometimes and not at least get a guy up and start the routine, because a lot of these relievers have long routines that they got to do. They got to throw the ball up against the wall. They got to throw a water bottle back and forth. I don't know. All the weird stuff that
hmm
relievers do to get ready. And it's like, I feel like Kinley could have gotten that call at least at the end of the fifth inning, so that if J.R. Ritchie did walk a guy, which he did, he could have came in, bless you,
Thank you.
before he got into that situation, because then he gave up the 3-run home run, and then he comes out, and it's like, okay, Kinley can still come in because it is still no outs and a fresh inning, but then that momentum had really shifted, and Kinley ends up giving the home run. So it's kind of vice versa, because like, would Kinley have a bad outing, and is this all
That's
for
always yeah.
naught?
It's always
Yeah,
like it's
but
always the chicken or the
yeah,
egg. It's like if J.R. Ritchie didn't give up that home run and he got a clean inning, it's like okay, well then you like that he's pushing his pitcher a little bit more. But it just didn't. Yeah, it just didn't end up that way. And yeah, like you said, like he'll learn from it. The hanging the curveball 1-1. Listen, it's good hitters are gonna hit it out. I'm sure he was jacked up with adrenaline and so probably not the pitch that he wanted to make. But yeah,
yeah.
to your point, yeah.
Yeah, it was tough, man. And listen, the game started super great. I'm like, we had homers from the usual suspects: Olson, Albies, Baldwin, Riley also had a homer. I'm like, it was a 4-homer day for this team, man. And also Olson obviously also got his 300th home run, and he added on obviously in the series and got another one. But it's been great. The offense has been awesome and it's producing. It didn't particularly produce very well in this series, but I'm like, we have to slow down at some point. I'm like,
Mhm.
everybody's not going to be hitting 400, 500 on this team. And so it was just a bad pitch, kind of sat on it, and it just didn't really work out. We lost the game. Second game of the series, we got the W. We bounced back. I think this could have very easily been a sweep, but lucky for us, Bryce Elder, he did give up a 2-run home run, but that was it. JP Crawford had an incredible series. So he was really hitting. That was who Elder gave up the home run to. But Elder, man, I'm like, he has really found something this year. I'm like, he has a 193 average, and that 2-run home run only raised his ERA up to 2.02, and he has 50 strikeouts, man. So he has gone from what we know from Bryce Elder previously, just being this ground ball pitcher, emulating Greg Maddux in that sense, because Greg Maddux really didn't have that strikeout tool. But with that slider, with this cutter, this strikeout tool is clearly developing really well because he has 50 strikeouts. You know
If
what I
I
mean?
said if I said 3.5 ERA, are you taking the over or the under for the rest of the year? Like
I'm
if
taking I'm taking the under. I'm like, he's gonna have
really,
some really bad starts to get to 3.5 ERA,
I don't
man.
know. I mean, I'm looking at a Savant page right now. xERA of 2.82. I feel like when it gets warmer and some of those fly balls start to leave the park,
Hmm.
it's gonna raise that average. I would take the over on
But
the
my thing
3.5,
is
which is
that
still good for a career. Last year he had a 5.3 and the year
yeah,
before a
yeah.
6.5. So like you take a 3.5, but
I,
I
I, de-
just I think there's some regression
I
coming.
definitely think so. But I think the difference this year is that he does have the strikeouts going. And so I think that with that strikeout, I'm like, if the bat's missing the ball and not making contact, the warm weather isn't going to have an effect on that. I do think that he does catch barrels from time to time. And of course, he did give up the 2-run home run. But I really think that there has been some serious changes that Bryce has made in the offseason. And right now, he's the second best pitcher on the staff.
Hmm.
So it is clear that he's made the changes, and I'm very happy to see it. A Dubon 2-out double and was great. He continues to deliver, but that clutch home run for Matt Olson, 301 off of Munoz, who has had just a terrible start to the season. I'm like a guy that when you think of, people would say top 5 reliever, like
Oh
historically the last
yeah.
couple years in
Oh
baseball,
yeah.
has had just a terrible start to the year. And, Olson just came up clutch and got the home run. But someone I want to talk about is Dylan Lee. I feel like Dylan Lee as a reliever is really, really slept on right now. I'm like, the guy has a .45 whip in 18 innings of work, a 1.02 ERA, and he's only making $2.2 million right now. I'm like, the guy has been incredible and has been so consistent. It wasn't like this high level of production. He was still great last year, but like he is consistent. He is sometimes better against righties than he is against lefties. I'm like, it has been incredible for Dylan. And I really think that in the postseason, when we get to it, because I feel like I can confidently say, and shoot, am I going to jinx this team? I feel confident saying that the Braves are going to make the postseason. I'm like, if we listen, if we don't make the postseason, that would be absolutely insane.
Liam, they
But
might kill you, dude. This is the same exact start that the Mets had last year. And I know it's the Mets, but man,
yeah,
they had the
I
best
don't
record
know,
in
man. I don't know,
baseball
man.
and they
That
blew it.
would that would be insane. But no matter what, seventh, eighth, and ninth inning with Dylan Lee, Robert Suarez, and Iglesias right now. I'm like,
Yeah, it's
it
gonna be
is gonna
tough. It's gonna be tough.
it is very difficult
Yeah.
when that lines up that way to get it. And I feel confident that a back in the bullpen can be very successful later in the year. So we will see. And then the game 3, I'm like, it was a very low scoring affair. Martin Perez, man, like it is like, yes, like a change up down the middle to Julio Rodriguez was what lost us this game. But for the most part, no matter what, the guy has just been so incredibly consistent. And he only gave up 2 earned runs. Like it is just veteran presence that I really hope that he does go to the bullpen, because Aaron Bummer has just been a literal bum and bummer the last couple years. I don't know why we brought him back. And to have that lefty in the bullpen. And listen, funny enough, we were playing the Mariners back. Mariners obviously did have one of the best regular seasons in baseball history with that 116 win season. And it actually took that same Mariners team till that 11th series to lose. So I will say that does bode pretty well for the regular season, not necessarily for the postseason, as we know the Mariners, that specific season
Right.
did not have
Have
great
not,
success in the
yeah.
playoffs and have not made the World Series yet. But it definitely bodes well. And listen, Will looked nasty, man.
Woo!
Woo! His slider and slider slurve slider, whatever you want to call it, was disgusting. And listen, baseball is hard. Hopefully, we're able to go to LA and rebound. I don't really know what to expect from this upcoming series, but what I do expect is that I'm excited about it. It's fun. Two of the best teams in baseball going at it to kind of really see, kind of get that litmus check to see where the National League is right now and who is at
Mm-hmm.
the top. So I'm definitely super excited about that series starting tomorrow, Friday, in LA. Okay, so let's take a look at the NL East and let's start off with the slumping Marlins. They did obviously win today, but this this NL East has almost completely changed.
Yeah.
The standings have almost completely
It's
changed
totally different from a
since
couple weeks ago. Except the
yes,
Mets are still in last. So
yes, the Mets are still in last place, but the teams that have won a couple games and lost a couple games are the Phillies and the Marlins. Of course, they did face one another, and when we had our last podcast, we didn't cover that final Philly Marlins game, and it was a quiet offense that let them down, and the Phillies won that series. Junk was still great. Junk still continues to just be an incredible option for the Marlins in this rotation. He went 5 1/3, 6 Ks, and the one blemish was the home run to Harper. It was a 1-0 loss. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't anything spectacular or crazy. It was just truly no offense, a 1-0 loss. Harper got the homer, and that was it. And the
yeah, I
Marlins,
mean he's a big ground ball pitcher, and so I think
yeah,
part of the reason why I didn't think he was going to be that good is because the Marlins defense has just not been that good the past few years, and it seems like they're really picking it up this year because
absolutely.
yeah, Junk has been really great so far, and better than some of the more hyped pitchers that we were excited about, or at least that I was excited about.
Yeah. And the bullpen has actually been one of the better bullpens in the major leagues. You know, if the starters struggle, obviously that bullpen usually can't particularly rectify the situation. But if they are given the opportunity to hold the score where it's at or win baseball games, they've been doing it. A 1.92 ERA. This was put in a little earlier than these other couple games. So I think that's risen a little bit, but I'm like, they're still, in the low twos, I'm sure right
No,
now.
they've
So
been really good. They've been really
yeah,
good.
yeah, absolutely. So moving on, then they went from playing the Philly. They're still at home, a long homestand. I think a 10-game homestand for them. Playing the O's. Listen, man, Liam Hicks, he won't slow down. And where I'm going to keep saying this in these games, man, he keeps on producing. I'm like, he matched his career high with 4 hits, added 3 RBIs, and a seventh inning moonshot. He went 431. I'm like, that thing was crazy. Joe Mack, shout out. In that first Phillies game in his debut, he didn't get any hits, but he added hit 1 and 2 in the same game, so good for him. And he even got an RBI. But listen, man, Sandy, man, Sandy. It is
Tough.
like I don't understand why, like, out of all of these rotation options, why Sandy is always the guy where it's like you're struggling, too bad. Like too bad.
I
Like
don't
you're
even
just
think it's. I wonder if they've had a I wonder if Sandy just likes to pitch. Like it just seems to like
so
to pitch.
you just think he's okay with it? Like he's like, you know what, whatever, I'll
I
get
mean,
through
listen, he's
five
got to
and I'll
get his
get
innings in. Like if he can like right the ship and find like because the thing is like I feel like sometimes he just has these games. It's not even like a bad inning. It's just a bad start. Like
yeah.
it's like every inning he's giving up 2 walks and 2 runs here and there, and then 3 runs here and there. So it's like, some pitchers have like 3 shutout innings and then give up 7 runs, and then have a shutout inning the next 2 shutout innings, and he just doesn't seem like that guy. But I don't know. I go back and forth with leaving him out there, because yeah, I just think he wants to get his innings up because honestly, like if he can pick it up, he needs to if he wants to qualify for like the ERA title or anything like that, like Cy Young maybe, like he's got to have these innings. And so, if he gives up 7 runs, you can't just yank him after 2 innings. So
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it, honestly.
Yeah, I just think that if there is an opportunity with what has seemingly been a bullpen that has had significant amounts of success, it's tough because then if it's an ego thing for Sandy needs to realize that if things are going bad, like you need to give your team the opportunity to win baseball games. So I don't know. I just don't really know. And Sandy seems very up and down. This Marlins rotation is up and down. They have a great week and then they have a terrible week, but seemingly they're all doing it together. They're either all having a really great week or they're all really struggling.
It's the key sign of a losing or at least a 500 ball club.
Truly.
Yeah.
And then once again, speaking of that rotation, Yuri Perez, he went 5 innings, but had 5 walks and 5 earned runs, and
it kills me. It kills me. He is such good stuff. He's such good stuff. He just cannot locate it to save his life right now. Like, I actually think he is going to turn around and have a very successful season and a big step forward from last year and the year. The guy's like 23 years old. Like, he's still so young, and so I am so confident. Yeah, 23 years old. Like, I'm confident that he will turn it around, but right now he cannot find the strike zone at all. Really 5 walks. Yeah. I mean, it's just like you can't. It's very hard to win a ball game when your starting pitcher is only going 5 innings and walking 5 and giving up 5 runs. Like your offense could be really good, which the Marlins is. Like their offense is really good this year. They have some young studs. But yeah, it's tough to win a game that way.
Yeah, they really need to be given the opportunity to win baseball games, and it's just not. When these weeks are going bad and they're not only given like, okay, we can overcome 3 or 4 runs, overcoming 6 to 7 runs is more difficult. And Dax Fulton had his major league debut, and he went 4 strong innings. He did give up 2 runs, but it was overarchingly a pretty decent debut for a starter who obviously came in and was able to do those 4 innings of relief. So for the most part, Dax Fulton did look pretty decent. And, as we said, after this game and after this loss, you were looking at the standings. You're like, oh, shoot. There's Philly in second place and Miami's behind them, so they really did kind of switch fortunes. So was definitely interesting to see. They did salvage the series. They did get a win. They did get a walk-off. Max Meyer, who we previously talked about last podcast, he didn't necessarily replicate his full success that he saw against the Phillies, but he still went 5, had 5 Ks for the most part. It was good.
Which I think is more of what Max Meyer is. I don't think he's the 7 scoreless with, bunch of strikeouts against the Phillies. Yeah. I think he's more so like 5 innings, 5 strikeouts, mid-3s ERA. Like, I just don't think that he is like this lead of the rotation,
Yeah, and Liam Hicks, once again, he homered, a 2-run home run. I'm like, this guy is freaking insane. Like, I just don't know where this is coming from. Liam Hicks, please let us know.
Are you on steroids? Are you on
steroids? Let us know. Did you pay an Etsy witch to give you special steroids, and now you're one of the best producing catchers in baseball? I don't know what's going on. I don't understand it, but it's honestly super fun. The guy seems like a really funny guy and clearly is an important clubhouse presence because it's just a guy that's found it and hasn't relinquished what he's found so far. So far, it has been consistent, and he's making these important home runs and overall production for this Marlins offense, and they walk it off. The walk-off was funny. Gunnar booted it and then threw it to Pete, and Pete couldn't scoop it. So
classic Pete Alonso, man. I tried telling people, classic Pete Alonso. Everyone's begging for Pete Alonso. Meanwhile, he's doing that. But
meanwhile, he's been incredible the last 10 games.
Whatever,
like
whatever.
OPS,
Moving on to the hottest team in baseball. Philadelphia Phillies. Starting off the week with that weird weird game against the Marlins that they were finishing the series on a Monday. You don't typically see that in baseball,
Yeah,
but
that was really, it was really weird.
and it just felt like everyone was asleep. And luckily, Bryce Harper was not, because he was the only offense, 3 for 4 with the only run of the game. Huge home run from Bryce Harper.
Yep.
And honestly, you look at 1-0 and you think, okay, probably Christopher Sanchez, maybe Luzardo starting. No,
No,
Aaron
no,
Nola,
Aaron, no.
six scoreless in the big year of 2026 is totally unheard of. I mean, it's like Nola is turning back the clock. I think people were asking for, a DFA from Nola less than a year ago. And, obviously he's taken a huge step back from where he was at one point, but you can still get 6 scoreless. It's pretty good. And, Philly's bullpen might be, they've been shaky so far, but they were able to step up in a big way. Holding a 1-0 lead is huge. And they were able to take 3 out of 4 from the Marlins. And then they took on the A's. First game, Phillies won 9-1. Christopher Sanchez is so good. He is so good.
He's so good.
Although
man. Yeah.
the one thing about Christopher Sanchez is he has some really weird home away splits this year. He's only made 2 starts away, and he's given up 11 or more hits in both of them.
Yeah.
So like all of his bad starts are away, and he's made 6 of his 8 starts at home. So I don't know if they're manipulating the schedule that way to have him just start at home or what it is, or maybe the schedule's just worked out that way. But he has been so good. He tied his season high with 10 strikeouts. I mean, what more could be said about the guy? Like he's top 5 pitcher in baseball easily. Especially right now when everyone's hurt, like he might be top 3. Like Skeens, Yamamoto, Christopher Sanchez, top 3 pitchers in baseball right now that are healthy.
Yeah, I think Chris Sale and Christopher Sanchez are on that same level.
Right,
Chris Sale
whatever.
has been
Homer.
No. Chris Sale has been better than Christopher Sanchez to start the year. Has a lower ERA, 6 and 6.
Who looks at ERA anymore? Whatever. And then this was Yohan Duran's first game back. Clearly some rust. He skipped the rehab start, the rehab appearances. So 3 walks, he got 2 strikeouts. He did give up a run. Luckily, the Phillies were so far out ahead that it didn't matter. And then Harper, another huge game. 2 home runs. Like, they are just cooking this offense. And Liam was super critical of Bryce Harper, saying he's kind of a bum. I said he's still going to end up with an 850 OPS. Honestly, my take looks a little underwhelming right now. Right now, he's absolutely cooking. And Stott is hot. Bryson Stott.
What is the OPS now up to?
It's like a 900 with those two home runs. He has a really high OPS. I'm pulling it up right now.
Yeah, 920 OPS. Yeah.
I don't think he'll end with a 920, but listen, right now he might be one of the best hitters in baseball the last week. Him and Liam Hicks. So, the Phillies have played a lot better since Thompson has left, and I don't know. A couple players came out and were like, it was the kind of like the will they, won't they of like, is he going to get fired? Is he not going to get fired? Rob Thompson. And, they ripped the Band-Aid, they fired Thompson, and they've gone on a streak. And so the next game, another step in the right direction for Zach Wheeler, who's still coming back from that long IL stint. Quality start. I don't think he's 100% of the way back, which is kind of scary to think about, because if this is like, let's say 65% of Zach Wheeler, and he's giving you a quality start, you don't want to face him at 100.
Yeah, 100%.
And the league should be scared. The league is on watch. The top 7 players in the lineup all had a hit except
Bryce Harper.
Bryce Harper. Man, what's going on, Bryce Harper? No, we're playing. But you know who's really stepping up? Brandon Marsh. Marsh right now is hitting 336 with an 875 OPS going into today's game. Like, that is just unheard of from Brandon Marsh. He's like a 260 hitter lifetime with like a maybe 750 OPS. Like, the fact that he is able to take a step up when we were looking at this lineup being like, I don't know who's going to drive these guys in. Like, he's been the guy. Do I think he's going to keep it up? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I just don't think anyone could keep up a 336. Like, I just think that's really impossible. But we got to talk about Trey Turner.
Yeah.
These last 7 games have been really disappointing. You see the rest of the team is on a roll, and he has been doing nothing. And you'd think like, okay, if you're doing nothing, you're Trey Turner, you can run like you're 99 percentile sprint speed,
I'm like
like you're stealing
every time Trey
bases.
Turner the last couple years would get on base, feel like
Yeah,
he's gonna be on
he's
third.
basically
He's gonna
yeah,
be
he's
on third. Yeah,
basically
yeah.
on third, and only 3 stolen bases this year, and it's not like he's gotten caught. He's not gotten caught at all. So only 3 attempted stolen bases, and I don't know, when you're hitting the way he's hitting right now, like you have to add value somewhere else, and it's not going to be defensively because he's honestly one of the worst defenders in baseball. He has a -5 outs above average, which is just like horrific.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is the decline of Trey Turner. It might be. I hope it's not because honestly, like
Yeah,
I'm a Mets fan, but I love
yeah.
watching him play. I think he's so fun to watch play. And then yeah, the last game, hate to see it. Hate to
Oh
see it.
God, man,
Phillies got clobbered, man.
that A's offense was on one. Jacob
Painter
Wilson
looked
had a crazy
awful.
homer.
Yeah, Rooker had a homer. The only offense that the Phillies got was from a Schwarber home run. And then you got Garrett Stubbs pitching, position player pitching, which I love to see as a fan, but man,
Yeah, yeah.
that's how you know the game's out of hand. And so, yeah, can't win them all. Great run from the Phillies since firing Thompson. Mattingly seems to really have these boys playing well. 8-2 since he took over. So, shout out the Phillies. I hate to say it, but yeah,
Yeah,
they're
I'm
playing
like
great baseball.
I honestly think that Don Mattingly, I'm not in that clubhouse, but I honestly think he's probably saying, "Listen, play for yourselves, guys." I'm like, do this for you." I'm like, I think a lot of the times, obviously, successful ball clubs playing for managers that they trust a lot and feel like they have their backs and are kind of trying to produce for that manager that they trust. But I think when situations like this happen, and even though Don Mattingly is a well known former manager, I honestly think that they are trying to turn the season around and prove that this ball club is going to be able to contend. And I think I can say that right now, what we're looking at, I'm like, clearly they are going to find their stride. I don't know. I do think that the struggles will come back, but I
Yeah,
definitely think
yeah, I
that
think so.
it is more likely that they get over 500 before a team like the Nationals, for instance. Like, I definitely think that that's 100% a possibility. And then finally, speaking of those Nationals, they got a series win against Minnesota at home. They've honestly not played super great baseball at home to start the year. So this was really an important win, but it did not start off super well. Cavalli, who we've previously sang his praises, had a really, really brutal day, one that he wants to forget. Honestly, one of the funnier kind of errors that I've seen, like it was a dribbler down the first baseline, and it was kind of like a routine PFP. And instead of like going to like pick up and transfer and throw, he tried to kind of like scoop it, like he was scooping ice cream, and he like scooped it, and he like scooped it out of his glove over the foul line, and he was like running after it like a 4-year-old child. And I was like, dude, what are you doing? Like, stop,
Statue baseball right
just,
there.
just pick up the baseball. Oh my god! And then Alger's like face palm, like, dude, what are you doing? Yeah, it was. He gave up, 6 runs, only 3 of them earned. Obviously, with the error and the kind of the brutal nature of some bad Nationals defense, it was kind of tough for him. Wood barely missed a home run by like a couple of inches. There was like a replay, and he almost got a home run, but it didn't really matter because the offense for these Twins kind of came to play, and they lost 11-3. But the Nats said, you know what? We're going to return that favor. And Miles Michaelis had a good day. It was weird. I was like, I saw that 15-2, and I was like, wait, who pitched in this game? They must have had a grid. I saw Miles Michaelis. I was like, oh shoot, he only
Double
gave up
take. Double
2 runs, 3 Ks. I'm like, I think any Nats fan, seeing how he's done, will take that in a heartbeat. And he's got his first win of the season. And Brady House and Drew Milas showed up early. Brady had a double and a home run for 3 RBIs. Milas also had a home run, but the guy of the day had an incredible day. CJ Abrams. He has just been on absolute fire right now. He went 3 for 5, 2 doubles and a home run, 5 RBIs. He has looked like putting himself in that conversation as one of the best shortstops in baseball right now. At least one of the best, if not the best shortstops in the NL East. I
I
think
was
we,
just about to say, I think right
yeah,
now, I mean, Lindor's hurt, Trey Turner's playing like crap. He's got to be the top
yeah,
shortstop
yeah.
in the NL
Well, I
East.
think we could say he is currently the
Yeah,
best shortstop in the NL East right now. It has been super fun to see this guy play. It is always fun when you let the kids play and they're having a lot of fun, and he is having a ton of fun. And listen, this Nats team slugged 10 extra base hits in this game. So they were
that's
slugging out the
crazy.
wazoo. That's the best amount of extra base hits since 2022 when they played the Orioles.
Wow.
So definitely a very, very fun game. And then finally, Cabert Ruiz legacy game to finish off the day. Today was a day game for them. Irvin kind of struggled through five. It wasn't super great.
That's kind of his
Yeah,
mo though. Like,
yeah. It wasn't really, but that was honestly a theme for both the Nationals and the Marlins. Kind of struggling through five, but as we said, it was Cabert Ruiz's day. He has had a really, really brutal year. Honestly, the really brutal last couple years. The expectation, obviously, starting off in the Dodgers organization and coming to LA and coming to DC, and obviously having that expectation that he was really going to be this star catcher. It has not been that star catcher, but he was that star catcher today. 3 for 4, two doubles and a homer, 4 RBIs. As I said, it's not been great, but today was awesome for him. And then Nunez and Meade gotten a couple RBIs. Wood got another hit. So they got that win and they got that series win. So I'm happy for them. And it is truly anyone's game in the NL East right now. And obviously, with the Phillies losing that, the Nationals do move back up to second place currently. So listen, it's anybody's game right now in the middle of the NL East.
oh, in the middle,
And
I was like, the Braves
yeah,
are pretty
yeah,
far out
yeah,
in
yeah,
front.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, in the middle of the
you're
year.
being kind.
Yes, I am. Okay, okay. So temperature check. I want to speak directly to the Atlanta Braves fan base right now. And we lost that series, and I got on Twitter, and you would have thought that we were the New York Mets and we'd only won 14 games on the season. Guys, we didn't win 80 games last year. We're coming off of six division wins, seven straight postseason appearances, and then we don't win 80 games. It was a tough year. And then we come back and are the best team in baseball. We're spoiled out of our minds right now with this crazy offense. And I need the Braves fans to realize that, yes, it is okay. I criticized Austin. I criticized some other guys. It's okay to criticize individual performances.
It's
But
healthy.
this,
It's healthy to
yeah, it's healthy.
criticize.
But this team is working on all cylinders. This is the best the Braves have looked since 2023. We're already getting the cheating allegations again. I don't know how we're cheating in away ballparks, but this is the Braves team that we desperately wanted last year and that we've wanted in 2024 as well. You know what I mean? So this is looking good, and I need the Braves fans to take a second. If we lose 10, 15 games in a row, yes, then you can start losing your mind. But we're the best team in baseball right now. I'm still sticking to that. And we're going to see where we are at. And yes, is it going to suck if we lose against the Dodgers? If we get swept against the Dodgers? Yes, maybe then you can start to say, are we potentially a little bit of frauds in the bigger picture of the
A schedule merchant like the
schedule-
Patriots, bro.
Exactly. But I think that we're going to at least win one game in LA. And I think it's going to be tomorrow with Chris Sale on the mound, our best pitcher. I think that is going to be our best opportunity to win that game. So we'll see. But I need the Braves fan base to chill out. So
Yeah,
that's it.
my panic level temperature check. They haven't pulled me back in yet, the Mets, so no panic because the expectations are still kind of on the ground. Maybe if they swept it would have been a little different, but they have a really easy schedule for a lot of May, and so if they start to get these series wins, maybe I'm pulled back in.
Yeah.
But right now the panic can't be high because I mean the division feels like it's over. Definitely feels like it's over for every team. So you're really fighting for the wild card, and I don't know if anyone else knows this, but the NL Central is pretty good this year. So you're really fighting with the NL
The
Central.
Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh Pirates are looking like
Every team
the
in the
Pittsburgh
NL
Pirates of old.
Central is over 500.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy, and there's only 10 teams in baseball that are over 500. So it's a long, long climb to get back into the wild card. So yeah, panic level on the ground because there is no hope right now.
Yeah.
Moving on to my player of the series, it was hard to choose because honestly, like the offense went off, but it was kind of a collective effort those first two
Yeah.
games. So I'll give it to Devin Williams. Two
Okay.
saves in a 3-game
Mhm.
set, back-to-back days that he pitched. He came through when they needed him most. Like that 10-5 game, that easily could have that had Mets loss written all over it. That had like leaving Sean Manaea in there for too long and giving up a grand slam. And he was able to shut the door. And the first game as well, able to shut the
That's
door.
a hold.
And
That's not a save.
no. It was a save because he came in. He came in the ninth with bases loaded. It was 10-5, so they had the tying run. I think it's like tying run on base, on at bat, or on deck. So he did end up getting a save for that.
That's considered a save?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Okay.
yeah.
Mhm.
I know. So it doesn't like look like it because it's not three
Yeah, no, but
runs or
I'll give it
fewer.
to
But
I'll give it to him. I'm like, listen, I'm like
yeah,
if that's the way. But yes, I understand what you're getting at. Yeah,
but
I
yeah, if he could get back to where he was pre Pete Alonso home run, you feel good. You feel good if the Mets can rattle off some wins. But
yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
great series from Devin.
Yeah, and I think my player of the series is very easy. It's Matt Olson. Congratulations to him. 300 home runs on a career. That's super great. Will he get to 400 home runs with the Braves? I don't know. But I definitely think he'll get to 350. Obviously, Kyle Schwarber recently got to 350.
Will he get to 350 this year? I'll say no.
Because no.
I think
No,
he gets
'cause
close.
right now he's at 12, 11 or 12. So I'm like, that would have to be pretty generational. Yeah, but right now it is just he is the best offensive player on this Braves team right now, and he hit those two really important home runs, so it's great. Definitely player of the series. I've talked about the LA series and
Yeah,
pretty
I'll
that
take this one. Mets are going out to the desert and playing the D-backs, who another team under 500.
yeah,
And honestly, the first two games are so winnable. They're so winnable. You got
yeah,
McClain on the mound first game versus Ryan Nelson, who has a 6.61 ERA. It's been really rough. Granted, he had that really, really bad start. He gave up like 8 runs in a third of an inning, and they yanked him. But listen, like if the offense can go off and McClain can work into the sixth, McClain got pulled last time very early, so they don't have that off day that they were hoping for. They were hoping to maybe have their bullpen a little bit more rested. But listen, you got to play, whatever hand is dealt to you. So tomorrow got McClain. The next day got their current ace, Clay Holmes against Merrill Kelly, who has an ERA near 10.
yeah,
He is not a 10 ERA pitcher. He's probably
yeah.
more
It's
like a
just crazy, man.
3.5 ERA pitcher,
Yeah,
but he's been really brutal coming back from injury. And then Sunday, the best pitcher of the bunch, it seems, Eduardo Rodriguez, who somehow has a 2.5 ERA.
yeah,
And it hasn't been announced who's going to pitch for the Mets. So really could be anyone. They could go with a lot of different options. It's not going to be Senga, but Senga is starting to ramp back up, it seems like. But yeah, I mean, it'll be, if they take 2 of 3, that'll be great. I'm not expecting it. But I would love it. And if they swept, I'd be so stacked. I'd be so excited. So, we will see. I mean, this is their best shot with those pitchers, McClain and Holmes. Like that is your best shot to win a series, bar none. So I hope they get it done, but I'm not sure of it.
yeah. Absolutely, cautiously optimistic, but
Cautiously
I'm
optimistic.
glad they
Yes.
got it, and based on those starters, clearly they should perform. But that is Division Therapy episode 11. Thanks so much for joining, and we'll get this out to you shortly. And good night.
Peace, guys.